what we are discussing here is politics. But let me say something about what Charles was saying. Yes, the youth want employment. But there's something fundamental that a state can create. It is called an enabling environment. You see, an enabling environment does not mean whatever you mention, and I don't like politics, but let me just say this. You can mention many things in your manifesto which you are working on, but that does not coalesce into an enabling environment. You see, an enabling environment is when you have people, you create space where people can sit in their houses, young can sit in, think of what they want to do, and they're able to do it tomorrow. One, because they can access ABCD, they can partner with ABCD, they can go back and discuss strategies, the government can allow them to do it. It does not necessarily mean that the manifesto is what is making people or this country develop. Very crucial, enabling environment. I think to me that's a very general word, but it's the in thing. So let me get away from the politics. I want to go back to why the way we are handling our youth in terms of managing their riots, their demonstrations. There are two areas I think we need to look at. One, and I repeat, Charles, we've worked together. I've known him for years. We've been friends for many years. And I want to say it here. Not because he's sitting here, but I know he's one of the sharpest officers I've ever worked with. And that is the truth in the police service. When we speak about policing, there's something that the police, and I can tell you my background, you know it. I was in Nyumba Kumi, I was in police vetting, I was with the Maraga team, and just the other day, I was advising Professor Kindiki in the Ministry of Interior. So I have some in-house understanding of what I'm talking about. The minister has three roles: policy, training, professionalism. Those are the things given to the minister by the law. It doesn't mean he'll wake up and tell the IG, I want you to train in this. But the minister will create a policy framework on training that should meet the expectations of the Kenyan people. The minister should sit in his office, create a team to work with him, to create workable policies on professionalizing the police. You see, when you're being trained as a police officer, you are being given the knowledge and the power to perform. But for you to be able to perform policing functions, you must be professionalized. And that means it is not the basic training that you are getting. There are other follow-up trainings. Charles is here, he knows. At some point, we have many officers in the police service who have never been back to training for 30, 25 years. And that's why the issue about professionalizing the police service, because even as he says that we have rioters, confused people, the police cannot be able to deal with them. One thing he needs also to know, that as a military officer we have been trained. We call it the second role with the military. The first one is defense of the country. The second one is assisting civil police. And we are trained fully in how to support the police in civil functions, disasters, evacuations, civil disturbance, cattle rustling, all those things we've been trained. And part of the training you get under that framework of civil support to the civil police, it involves rioting, picketing, demonstrations. And that is, I mean, we don't speak from zero. We've been trained, and it's a very crucial component of our training. Of course, I left many years ago. So what I'm trying to say is this. The military will never come to the streets if they know they don't understand what you are doing. And that's why when they're being prepared to go and do some things, they're normally put together. Like now what happened, remember the last time they were sent in the streets. They didn't just walk to the streets. They were brought, I think, to Langata, given some understanding of what needs to be done, then they walked to the streets. So we know, the military knows their role under civil support to the civil police. So what I'm trying to say is, if we look at the graduated response to what happens on the streets, our police have not been doing it well. Because we said, one, use truncheons. Two, use rubber bullets. Then third, you can use live ammo. Number three, what I've not also mentioned is they also have, he called them what? Gas people.
Gas gunners.
Gas gunners. So they also have the
canisters.
The canisters. So what I'm trying to say is our government, and it's our government, to be honest, you cannot bludgeon your way to peace. What we are seeing in our country, and I speak as Professor he calls himself a strategist, which I like because that's my area also. So when you sit down, Deban, there's something in strategy we call scenarios. You build scenarios. So I sit down and I'm looking at where we're heading as a country. And I look at how the police are behaving. I look at how the police are reacting. I look at how our politicians are also reacting to these things. And Deban, if the government wanted to have people to sit down and actually build scenarios on how the government can deal with this issue positively, it is very possible. But I think that's what we are lacking. So what we are having are reactionary things that are being done by the government. We look at the youth. Some of us will say, yes, they have legitimate demands. Some politicians will not want to look at it as legitimate. They turn it into tribal, ethnic. But at the end of the day, as a country, we must sit down and ask ourselves, what are these things the youth are asking? Even as we use our police, even as we speak bad by politicians, at the end of the day, this country must deal with what the youth are asking for. They must.
And cannot run away.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right, 11 o'clock on the nose. I just want to take a short break. When we circle back, of course, we shall be winding up the show. And just also to tease out some of issues that have been raised here. And people are wondering, should this day be marked as a national